Hey guys, so today's video we are doing a review and a full day's wear test of the new Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation, which I'm super excited about. I have a thing in my heart for like full coverage foundations. It's just like my favorite type of foundation to wear. So I have like high expectations for this. I really hope this works out good. I've watched a couple reviews and I have heard like mixed things about it, so I'm excited to wear it today. I actually just realized I have the wrong shade. I ordered from Sephora, I swear to God, I ordered creme brulee, like this shade that I got. I got the shade Butter Pecan in the mail, which is way off from the shade that I picked. So I just swatched it and I was like, why does it look so dark on me? So it might be a little bit dark on me, but we're gonna roll with it anyway, and I actually have to like do stuff today, so I'll just like fix it up with concealer. I don't know. I was actually really excited that the foundation came with a sample of the primer as well, because I did not pick up the primer. So I'm actually going to use the primer on one side of my face and I'm going to use no primer on the other side, just to see if the foundation works better or not with the primer and which side looks better. So like I said, not by choice, I got the shade Butter Pecan number 330N, which is classified on the chart that Huda made. It's classified close to being like an NC 37, which is definitely a little bit darker than what I am right now, but on Sephora it's classified as a medium skin tone with neutral undertones. So I think we're going to be able to make it work. Let's do it. On the box it actually says it's a high coverage cream foundation, camouflages imperfections, soft focused filter finish. And by soft focus filter finish, I guess they mean it's like a satin matte, because that's what it says on Sephora's website. Made for all skin types, medium to full coverage. Let's do it. The swatch that I have on my hand, it actually has a pretty distinct smell to it. It smells a lot like roses. It's a pretty strong scent, so if you're really sensitive to fragrance, that's definitely something to keep in mind. This is what the primer looks like. It's definitely on the thicker side. It doesn't feel very tacky though to me. I have heard a couple people say it feels tacky. I guess we'll see when I put it on my face, but it does have a smell. It's a lot similar to the foundation, that like rose scent. I think the foundation actually smells a little bit stronger though, so I'm just gonna take this off my hands and pump out a little bit more, since I think I took out too much. I'm gonna put the primer on this side of my face because I don't want to do the whole side, my whole face. It does feel a little bit heavy on the skin. Like it doesn't feel like it absorbs very quickly into the skin, like right away. You definitely gotta like work it in. I'm just gonna zoom you guys in real quick, because you can actually see, this is the side I don't have the primer on, you can actually see the line of demarcation, like where I have the primer and where I don't. It's very, very like satin looking on my skin. This side of my face looks pretty matte. I hope you guys can see that. Do you guys see like that line right there? And then the skin differences? I don't think it's doing much for my pores. I think it's just giving my skin a very luminous looking finish. So I'm just gonna pump some of this foundation out on a little palette. It is a very thick consistency. It's not very runny or anything, so there's that. I'm gonna start on this side, and I'm gonna work with a little bit of product at first, because I have a feeling that this foundation, a little bit, is gonna go a very long way. So I'm just gonna start on this side with a beauty blender, and I'm gonna tap it in. Okay, so it's definitely like a little bit dark. I'm definitely gonna have to blend this down my neck, but it's blending out super easily and evenly. Like right off the bat, it's very, very even. Going on the skin, it feels very hydrating. It doesn't feel very matte to me, like when I first put it on. It doesn't dry very quickly, so I guess that's why it doesn't feel like very matte right off the bat. It definitely has some playtime to it, which makes it very easy to blend out. I'm just going to add a little bit more. This coverage is absolutely beautiful. It's pretty full coverage right off the bat. There's a lot of pigment in this foundation, but I'm just going to add a little bit more just to see if it's buildable or not. I just want to test it. Okay, it's definitely buildable. Like, it's covering up any redness that I have really well. I feel like this might be a good foundation for like troubled skin without making it look like cakey, but still providing coverage. Alright, so initial application, this is what we're looking like. Side with nothing on it compared to this side. I promise I'm gonna blend down my neck and fix this, but this is what we're looking like. I think it looks super beautiful on my skin. Like it's really full coverage, but it does not look cakey whatsoever on my skin. It definitely has like a luminizing satin finish to it, but it's still remaining pretty matte, which is exactly how it was described. The finish of it, it feels really, really comfortable on my skin. Like I even brought it up underneath my eyes, and it's not like too drying underneath my eyes where it makes it look like worse and settles into those lines. My skin in general, it feels really, really good on my skin. I really like it. So far on this side without the primer, I don't personally think it feels heavy at all on my skin. I am someone that does like full coverage foundations, and I think for a full coverage foundation, this one actually feels really light on the skin. So I like it. It does not feel heavy to me. So let's test it out on the primed side and see if it feels any heavier, because I know I did watch a couple reviews where people were saying they thought the primer maybe made it feel a little bit heavy and sticky on the face. So let's test that out. It's like really good coverage. That is really good coverage. I feel like I'm putting a new face on my face, and I kind of like it. Okay, so looking up close in my mirror, my initial thoughts is that the side of my face with the primer, like, honestly looks a little bit more textured, and I think that's because this side looked a little bit more luminous like I showed you guys, and now this side looks a lot more matte. So obviously when your skin is more luminous, it like reflects texture more than like a matte foundation would. So if you do like a more like glowy look to your skin, more dewy kind of look, I think that you would like this. But just because I have pretty textured skin to begin with, when it's like a side-by-side comparison, like split down the middle, I do prefer the matte side. So like I personally would probably do without the primer. I like the way the foundation looks by itself without the primer. So but I don't feel any differences in my skin with the primer on. I don't feel like it feels heavier at this point in time. But overall right now, I'm really liking the way it looks on the skin. I think it looks awesome. This is right up my alley. Like I'm loving this coverage and everything. If I had to compare it to something, like coverage and feel-wise, I kind of feel like it's around the same type of like feeling as the Milani Conceal and Perfect foundation. Like the thickness and everything reminds me of that, except this one feels a little bit lighter on the skin. Like it reminds me of the way that looks on my skin, like that very nice full coverage effect. This one definitely dries down a little bit better than the Milani one does. The Milani one stays pretty luminous looking and like dewy until you set it with the powder. But I feel like if you have dry skin, you might actually be able to get away without setting this one. You'll probably have to like touch up and powder a little bit throughout the day. So I am going to set this with a little bit of translucent powder. I'm going to set it with the Laura Mercier powder. I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup, and I'll be back for a check-in at the end of the day. I have to like be outside all day today, so this is going to be like a perfect test if this foundation holds up. Me and Joe are going to do some like basic stuff today, go pumpkin picking and get like apple cider donuts. So I'm going to be like on a farm in the heat all day. So I'll be back and we'll see if this has melted off my face or not. I just want to do a quick check-in right after full makeup application. This is what the foundation looks like with all my makeup done. My makeup went on really, really freaking good and smoothly on top, like bronzer, highlight, concealer, everything looked awesome. When I initially set it with the Laura Mercier powder, the foundation did look like a little bit dry, but once I set it with the Japanesque makeup setting spray, which is just like kind of like an aerosol setting spray. It's really, really nice. It's kind of like a mist. And then I feel like it kind of revived it again, and it looks really great. But again, it does have a little bit more of a matte finish, so setting it with a powder on top, I have a little bit more of dry skin, so that's definitely why it looks a little bit more dry. But otherwise, like, it looks really, really great. It looks like kind of like photoshopped. I also forgot to tell you guys what time it was for the check-in. Right now it's 11:26. My phone's really dirty. In the afternoon, so that's where we're going to start our day, and then I'll be back in a couple hours to let you guys know my final thoughts and how the makeup held up. So I will see you guys soon. Okay guys, so I'm home, hair is up, I am back. It is now 5:10. I believe, what time did I say I put it on? I think like 11:30. So it's been on for about like 5.5 hours now. I think that's a pretty good amount of wear time to start forming an opinion about the foundation. So let's assess the situation and take an up close look in the mirror. Right away, I'm definitely seeing some oiliness. It's not like anything too dramatic. I think it looks a little bit worse given that I have the bright light. It's kind of reflecting it more. definitely looks a little bit worse on camera, but I feel like if you were to have oily skin and get oily pretty easily, you'd probably be significantly more oily at this point than I am now. So I feel like if you are oily, you would definitely have to touch up during the day with this foundation, because I could definitely do a touch up right now. But even though I'm a little bit oily in the T-zone, I don't see the foundation breaking up at all, so that's a good thing. So I wouldn't mind just like a little bit of powder if I had to throughout the day, because otherwise everything still looks pretty much intact. It looks pretty much the same and it still looks great on the skin. I feel like that's really the only area I'm oily in. Like everywhere else still looks pretty good. Like my cheeks and everything still stayed pretty matte looking. Bronzer and highlight still going strong. I have normal to dry skin, but I do tend to see like natural oils come through throughout the day with pretty much any foundation that I wear, unless it's like super matte. I don't really tend to get oily. It doesn't claim to be a super matte foundation to begin with. It does claim to be a satin matte finish. I definitely think it does lean a little bit more on the satin side, so if you're expecting it to be like a super matte foundation to get like that ultimate long wear, like matte all day kind of look, I don't think that's going to be what you're going to find in this foundation. But it is a very comfortable foundation to wear. Like it just looks very nice. Like it looks really nice on the skin. I do like it. It does settle the tiniest bit into like my smile lines, but that's totally normal. I think it's actually settling a lot less than what I normally see with most of my foundations, so that's a really good sign. I do like that. Overall, I really love the way it looks on the skin, and I would definitely wear it again. I'm definitely going to play with it a little bit more and like see if I can get a longer wear out of it without getting a little bit oily with different primers and stuff, and kind of test the waters with it and see what I like best. As far as the primer goes, like the prime side was this side and the not prime side, I really honestly don't see any significant differences. Like they literally look the same to me after like a day's worth of wear, so I think I could do without the primer. When I was taking like my thumbnail pictures for the video, I took pictures with and without flash, and I didn't see any significant flashback. I really didn't see any at all. It looked really good on camera. Like it looks good on camera. Like before, it looked better before than it does now on camera when I first applied it, but like in photos and stuff it does look really good on camera, so that's also a good thing. If you guys have any questions and I left anything out, which I think I pretty much covered anything, but if you guys have any questions at all, just leave them down in the comments and I will answer them. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the wear test and the review on the foundation, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!